My name is Lai Chi Yang. I was born in Santa Barbara, California.
My name is Tsai Mo. I was born in the village of Nakaneng.
Lúc bé hùa tiền yon sánh công không sánh lì cú yu trâu lú on trong long chén tết chấm lò
legal be ma ho tu cha na lu shima ne no na lu ho ko to lan cha na ko yu ta lu ra khan khai à
thầu Colombia thầu nè hết chỉ yêu lỡ hu plin mong te hu lu pe ta ki che lỡ mong cụ tìm be hu gì nè pe lu rõ cụ chỉ yêu cụ mà thầu cụ chỉ yêu cụ mà lỡ nhau lu rõ pe ta che mong hu tiêu cụ tha nó.
My name is Gazhou Xiong and I'm 39 years old.
Back in the 60s and 70s, our village was very, very primitive. But it was very happy. Also, remember, as a kid, we were playing with banana trunk. You know, you would cut those bananas and made horse, we call it horse, and we'll ride down the slopes. Those were the fun days of kids.
Thầu yêu mê mà yêu chỉ cho bao đó là nó yêu mất xa để tên đó mà thầu yêu nhau mà yêu chỉ tao nó kế chú phe chúng mà kế chế chúng mà kế chú phe li họ hỗ trợ mà yêu rong đó họ dễ dễ đến đâu rồi mà yêu mà chọn đông lo lo à được cụ chỉ lên đâu rồi mà yêu lúc cái hà rong lo lo mà mua chọn đông phạt mong hồ đông phạt đông nó thế hồ chọn nhà nó chọn đông phạt đông thế nhà mà xưa hàng nhưng cái cho họ trong nó chỉ luôn à dù mi yang cả nắng mà dù tới chỉ tới to tới chỉ trâu lo là gì thế mà lúc sau hàng đỡ mà giờ bé sát cho mà bé cho hàng đó họ thì mua cái là gì thế mua tiền để tôi dùng gì nè mà ta chỉ nó mà chỉ mua tiền để ta bao để họ tiền thì mua chỉ bao.
I remember the camp being really fun because I grew up, spent my childhood there until the age of 6. And so I went to school in the camp. So I remember being dressed in uniform, and my dad, he did and so and then the sato de kimigano. And so because of that, my parents had a little bit of money. And so he was able to have a motorcycle. So I remember riding on the back of my dad's motorcycle, and he will take me to school. I remember just playing outside like all day, playing and having fun, being a kid. So in the camps itself, for me, there was no worry. Like I was just a child.
tôi tích cho tôi kiên đó chơi cũng do thì tôi thấy nhau năng cái chỗ năng sĩ sang kia tôi giờ nhau hồng dọ thì cũng nhà ở bài xa cũng tôi nhà tài lên giờ nhau cũng nhà ở họ chụp bài chơi wonder thì chả biết họ chụp bài thế sĩ sang lịch bỏ cũng gì là nên chơi thầu nhau hồng nhà tờ ta họ làm chén chỉ mua nhau hồng tỏ này chơi cho lo lía cho tôi cũng gì bài lợi dọ cho tôi cũng chỉ mua sắm mana là chỉ bé cũng nhẹ cho family nhẹ hết gì là tất cả tham rồi đó mà lấy là chỉ cũng chỉ lo chỉ bé thế cũng nhẹ thế chỉ sẽ bé chung trâu cũng chỉ.
In 1977, my oldest brother decided that we are going to leave Laos to Thailand. So we made a long journey to cross rivers and valleys and mountains to the shores of the Mekong River. And that was the summer of 1977. Our families came, and the younger children and the elderlies were put into a canoe, and they were transported across the Mekong River to Thailand. My niece and I were tied together, so we were swimming, right? We had bamboo floats under our armpits, so we were swimming. And we started at 9 o'clock, right? So we were floating downstream into this smaller water that intersecting with the Mekong River, forming a whirlpool. So we were swimming there, and turning around there, swimming there, from 9 o'clock until like 5 o'clock the next morning. And so at first I had my clothes on, but then it became too heavy, so I took everything off. I became very, very bare. So we were swimming and turning and churning in there. And 1 minute I saw Thailand over there. The next minute I saw Laos over there. But we were swimming and turning and churning there. And as we were swimming there, I called heaven and earth. I called whoever could come to rescue us. And by 5 o'clock the next morning, a group of Thai soldiers came in a boat, and they came to us. They plucked us out of the water, put us in the boat. And the first question they asked me was, where is your money? I didn't have anything. And I said to them, I said, I have nothing.
Still very young. My parents were really young. And so they wanted the opportunity. They wanted to come here because they knew that life in the camps, that was it. There was nothing for them. And so for me as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I was super excited. Like every time when the buses come, like the bus will come and the families will start to leave, I'll be like, oh, I want to get on that bus. I want to go wherever they're going. I had no idea. I want to get on that bus too. That's so exciting. So as a child, I was just like, I want to get on that bus. There's a photo of us, on my family, on that bus. And so my dad is like, half his body is out the bus and he's like waving to whoever that was down there. And then my mom is sitting right next to him and I'm like somewhere in that frame and I'm waving. I was like, you can see this huge smile on my face. So I was really happy. And so I think for me as a child, that anticipation of like, oh, we're going, it's like you're going on a trip. Like I've never left the camp before. We gotta go somewhere. So it was super exciting for me.
Hãy cho khoản do mà chỉ mấy tu chuyện do nữa, cho nhớ tí cho cái rõ sẽ được tự do nội do chủ yếu sẽ để dân cho xét nữa là tu tiêu lấy dân do ta lo có thả kia mà nhưng chỉ xả nhỏ đi luôn, tao hỏi thì có tua tiền nó chỉ everything giờ chia đàn thầu tôiอยู่nữa. Đông đợi lù cả nó kể hổ và chơi bột trái giả tới tàn thọ bé mình do chuyện do mà cũ chẳng lùa lúc sẽ đợi cũng mới do chơi năng cổ tên của blog hiểu nhưng chỉ tông to năng cổ chỉ hiểu vậy cái cũ gì cái auto lầu nữa mà chỉ hai lù đi nó chứ mà tôi chỉ sẽ những sao để nó nhận chơi với nhau lên nó tạm một lần sau lúc trâu li chơi sponsor thì vô tôi pin bà chơi nên nó của thì bé phụ mua cứ tin nhau nó có từ thế bé phụ bao này cũng được phụ bao đấy nhau bé sang po chụp bao đi nó sẽ tí cho bao mình số ta đấy sang po đó có dù chẳng năng tiền nó hai tiền lấy nhau sang po nó thế nào chơi như vô tôi để pin bà để sang po chơi như hai bé để lúc sẽ hơn nó nè của thâu nè một tờ trên bài nè một sang po chơi cho nó chơi này trả chế tôi chơi thâu bé một tờ sẽ tờ trên bà bé tu sponsor mà tu niệm mà qua cơ nữa tu chỉ mà chỉ qua thôi bên cả bé cho ý lần ý nhiều bó khổng cũng chẳng thay tốt thay nhẹ đó bên cả mà bé tu sponsor tu bó niệm mà hoa khá nỉ nó mà nó qua cho chị nè cũng mà cũng chẳng chỉ chế năng tới chia thế giờ thả ra mà cũng chẳng xa thì trả lời lúa dụ luôn cũng chẳng yếu qua thế tao có tiền lấy tôi chỉ là dùng này dùng gì nè thế là chẳng ý họ nâng thế này dùng tôi chỉ là lỡ hỏi nè với vị cha dùng anh dạy lỡ mùa lỡ họ qua nè chị cũng mất sao xe tiền sẽ y mà giờ lỡ lúa dùng thầu dùng chuộng nè lỡ thì cha chỉ nên nâng là dùng chuộng luôn lỡ lúa dùng khỏi tất cái chuộng nè mà không để có chuộng này chuộng cả tàu lũ nó chỉ giờ lên nè mà bên gì bà chị chỉ qua tụi này có qua chị bé chị lo chị thầu bé chị tao lo nên chị của thì áo nhẹ thì nhà nên chỉ năng chị huân ra mỗi tối phong đời chẳng mỗi nhớ học với phong nhà mì nấu bộ hay lúc nó có khổ nó chỉ đến này giang khứ này sau thì ý trả nên muốn nó xù na có chỉ bao hamburger có chỉ bao order chị cú sâu rồi hôm nọ na ta xin nó chẳng nhớ này thì nó hamburger nó fry thế hậu đây chị sâu đây đâu rồi cho nên sao riêng tên là cho nên pháp tên là chị ta xin nó chẳng nhớ cũng chẳng muốn cho là sẽ của xã chả xin năng này rồi ở rộng rồi đi
cô chẳng cậu sai xong số chị cô chẳng qualify một cái high school theo mà một giờ cái high school thì chị cô bỏ tới cho nên trái và mình đào traiอยู่ที่เจริญนั่นดาวผมบอกก็หมดที่เช็คกันได้เจริญยิ่งมันช่างupper level เช็คสนายะที่ถ้าอยู่สายเดียวอยากเขียนตัวเด็กกันอยู่เขียนเด็กกันที่เราเขาเนี่ยที่จะได้ยุ่งที่จะได้ยุ่งบนที่ไหนยะที่ชิมันกันยันได้อยู่ก็สื่ออยู่ยันได้อยู่ก็สื่ออยู่เจ
You know, so people call culture shock, I call the technological shock. I say that is because we never had indoor plumbings, right? We never had electric appliances, right? We never had buses and cars and taxis and telephones and all of that. And so we came to America, and we were not told about that. We didn't have the orientations that needed for refugees who grew up in a non-technological environment. Then finally we found an apartment, and we lived in that apartment. It's a second floor apartment. It's right on the street. And it was so crowded, so hot in the summer. And I remember we couldn't sleep in the room, so we went out and sleep outside. A couple fire escape ladder, no? We went outside and slept on those ladders outside, just so that we were a little bit cooling off.
Tôi sẽ thích mình cái mà lịch tu sửa là cái giờ vì lịch hạ tu sửa tôi cho chị bây giờ tí giờ thì này sư chị bây trường một cái middle school cái high school này chị cũng tôi bỏ cũng tôi này lâu lớn năng là ở tây sư vậy này chị yêu khó cái và thế cái expectation thì yêu tôi cho mà lỡ nhớ và chị rong mua làm mua cả mua trong mua to rong vậy tôi xíu giờ yêu tôi cho thế chị mình cái là luôn năng chờ luôn năng đặt ở tây sư nè ok nhớ every day thật tây sư nè là chị ở chỗ của tu sửa vậy tu sửa thì tôi sẽ luôn năng tới chị mình cái này rong nó sư trường sỏi nhẹ yêu ô lý trà này vậy chị bé mua cái sỏi nhẹ bé tôi cho professional bé mua cái sỏi nhẹ hành thọ bé tôi bóng lần đã.
It's kind of this double-edged sword of like, while my parents were, experiencing class mobility, right? They wanted to move out to the suburbs, and I also understood that this was their, idea of a better life. I also understood that they wanted to do this for us kids to have more opportunities to be in a school system that had more sports, more music, more arts access, and all those things. And so, yeah, it was just like living in that duality of like, Mom, like this place is so racist. I feel so uncomfortable at school. Like my mental health is totally like demising because of what I'm experiencing at school. And like just I had my old friends and they were a very diverse and like caring bunch, and now it's the difference is so jarring. But then also like knowing that like, okay, like Mom and Dad got to do shit and got to got beto lu che jongli no and beto lo nyo kwa chali no na. And so yeah, just very conflicting.
home to me is where I feel safe, you know? And that Bun Vinai camp, I felt safe. So at that time, that was home. That was enough. And here, it's home is in that classroom with my Hmong professor. Like, oh, like you feel a sense of safety because in that safety, you can imagine, you can create, you can be whoever you want to be. And so wherever we are in the world, like if a Hmong woman who's in Laos right now, and she feels safe, she feels like she can make decisions for herself, she feels like she has opportunities to go to have higher education and work, then yeah, she has every right to call that home. And so home ultimately comes down to, do I feel safe?
We were born in Laos, but we were not in Laos. We came from America, but we were not natural born American. Yes, we were naturalized, but we were not born American. At that moment, as a man, I felt like I was nothing because I didn't have an inch of real estate to call home. You know? But as a Christian, though, Jesus said, you know, you believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house, there are many rooms. So that really affirmed that whether I was born in Laos or in America or wherever in this world, my home is not on this earth. This is just a stopover. My permanent home is in heaven.
Bé wa chỉ chế mà mấy họ nâng mà chỉ bao nhiêu xe nè nè con nhìn đồ luôn nhớ là để là nhớ tàu thế chỉ ta đi là nhiều mua nhiều họ phía là bởi nhiều mua nhiều cái xã thế họ cũng tụt khen mà tao bắt ta cũng bị để cũng chỉ họ rồi họ nè có chỉ vậy có nhau rồi đâu chỉ có lời lùa thế nè lỡ tao hô lửa rong rồi lỡ tao chỉ nhớ chỉ có lời lùa thế có lúc này chuyện gì đi chỉ cái tao nhảy họ nói ít họ có bọn tao khó thế có thì có nhảy họ nó mà chia nhảy là mua sao ổn đó nè cái tao một số lúc rồi này sẽ cũng mua hồ lửa thì mà một lần nào mà bây giờ chỉ chế mà nhà bây chỉ nhiều xe thì chỗ nó nhà tao mình nhiều gặp mình ba mình nhiều có lại nhỏ nó còn đỡ nữa chỉ những tàu đấy mà cái gì hiểu sơ lầu đấy đủ đấy các chủ ở đường núi lâu thìอยู่ว่าแต่ใจจะกูรัวมากูกินเนาะเนี่ยกูสาว
หันยาขาจะกูนี่ตัวที่จะนั่นเด้ละจะอยู่กันนี่ลูกฟูมิยาเราที่จะนั่นละจะว่านี่ลีว่าเด็กกูนี่ตัวกูนี่เดี๋ยวลิจาลสีเราที่จะนั่นจะกันยังชิมาอะไรนะเกี่ยมุขตัวละยังวิ่งเดี๋ยวเป็นยัติอุกันจำบริจาลจอมใช้หัวซื้อเด็กเขาเดี๋ยวgiờ lúc đấy chờ communist là nè, có một nhóm là cái nhóm chỉ tàu là, giờ có một sai số là giờ là sắp bao nhiêu theo bao nhiêu có một tấm bằng thế chị, còn giờ là giờ là trả cái trả hậu xe là giờ sángอยู่จะพงจะอยู่sáng sớm, แต่เชื่อรู้นั่งตอนเด็กเชื่อรู้นี่เกิดอย่างตัวเด็กจะน่าจะก็ยังได้รู้ใจยังไม่เคยอ่านไม่มีตัวสุดละก็จะก็ยังกูรู้เลยนะยังโจเชียน้อยเคลียร์ที่เป็นตัวมีอยู่รู้นั่งเด็กจะน่าเนี่ยตัวเด็กจะน่าเลยตอนเด็กสุกุศลเลยนะฮะที่มันเกิดโมใช่โมจันยาเลยก็จะก้ามวิสิตก็พอวิกมันจะก้าหล่อสักกุศลเลยนะกูดูแค่นั้น
กูมัวขอนยอรู้แต่เจอกูเลยยอ after กูเนี่ยกูจริงก็ตัวตาตัวที่ตัวจะเชียร์เนาะจีอีตัวจอยตัวเชนนะจีกูยอรู้เชื่อแต่ชมรอกูยอรู้เชื่อเถอะกูเนี่ยกูจริงก็ pass away ตาจะอีคอเถอะกูตะก้าหมดชอบแต่ชมรอ cụ trắc ông bỏ cụ cho nên tê chờ tê trong tê chỉ trong tê cô tê chỉ bỏ cụ nè cụ gì lỡ này chị khó tu sửa để khẩn dọn chị dọn after you nè you chỉ tốt ta Malaysia ít thằng you tư họ lâu đi nó lỡ này chị tư tu sửa cái lâu là chậu chưa you này chị mà lấy một họ tu sửa chấp lời đấy.
You know, if you think about Lalu J, right? J is used to refer to like the actual building structure of Ilut J, and it's also used to reference Yu Neng, right? So your family. And so to me, I think that's where I think there's something historical and ancestral about that. The architecture of the building that is our home. But Hmong J is you see it at the Hmong New Year, you see it at the Hmong July 4th tournament, you see it Tobe Mukong, you know, a funeral, Tobe Mukong Chong, you know. So to me, I think home for Hmong people is where Hmong people are.